Photos of hundreds of people sharing meals amid China's coronavirus outbreak left many astonished. Now, that neighborhood is paying the price with community-wide infections. We hear from the residents there of how government cover-up has led to the fast spread of the virus. Funeral homes in Wuhan are overloaded amid the coronavirus outbreak. Funeral homes in other parts of China are sending staff to Wuhan to help out. Chinese authorities have called for a final war against the coronavirus, but experts have said the virus hasn't peaked yet. So is China in a so-called final war? Another 39 people have tested positive on the quarantined Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan. The total cases on board has now hit 175.
The situation in the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak seems to be getting worse. As more people become infected, other hospitals are sending staff to Wuhan to help. But it's no longer just hospitals sending help. Now, at least 3 funeral homes have sent teams there. This picture shows 14 people from a funeral home in southwest China about to set out for Wuhan. The banner says funeral service supporting from Chongqing for Hubei province. Wuhan is the capital of Hubei province. Netizens are saying it's hard to think about why more funeral staff are required. One wrote on Twitter, they cannot keep up with the cremation. Many speculate the death rate far exceeds official numbers. Another 2 funeral homes also sent workers to Wuhan to help out. 2 days after people returned to work in China after the Lunar New Year holidays, a factory worker was found to be infected with the coronavirus. The factory is located in a city west of Shanghai. Over 200 employees in the factory had to be put in quarantine. This video from Twitter shows the employees waiting outside in a line, carrying their own quilts, waiting to be quarantined. With the number of confirmed coronavirus cases rising, many overseas Chinese are worried. They send care packages with face masks and other protective gear to China, but the packages never arrived. USPS has issued a statement suspending the guarantee on mail sent to Hong Kong and China. That means while they are still shipping to Hong Kong and China, they can't promise the packages will be delivered by a certain date. This is due to airline cancellations and restrictions on movement in those areas. The latest order from the Chinese regime is to launch a final war against the coronavirus outbreak. A senior official of China's political committee went to Hubei to issue an order on behalf of China's leader Xi Jinping. It's an absolute order, meaning you have to comply to the fullest or die trying. It's to prepare 100,000 hospital beds by February 20th. Since February 10th, at least 18,000 medical staff from other parts of China have arrived in Wuhan to help. At the same time, there was a surge in social media posts in mainland China calling for help. On the morning of February 12th, there were over 200 posts on social media in just 4 hours from Wuhan calling for help. The situation seems desperate. Many hospital staff in Wuhan have also died of the virus. This raises the question, is this really the final war on the coronavirus that Chinese authorities are launching? If resources across China are used up in Wuhan to fight this virus now, but experts say the virus has not yet peaked, what will happen when the resources run out but the virus is not beaten yet? What will be used to combat the virus then? Photos of hundreds of people sharing meals amid China's coronavirus outbreak left many astonished. Now that neighborhood is paying the price with community-wide infections. We hear from the residents there of how authorities' cover-up has led to the fast spread of the virus.
By mid-January, the deadly coronavirus has been spreading in Wuhan, China for weeks. Baibuting, a populous district in the city, was preparing an annual banquet to celebrate the Lunar Chinese New Year. Over 40,000 families would join. The banquet was set to happen on January 18th. 3 days before, concerned with the outbreak situation, staff from the neighborhood committee asked if they could cancel the banquet. But district officials denied the request. And the consequence was deadly. Home to over 1,000 residents, the district is now one of the most severely infected areas of Wuhan. Mr. Li is a resident of the district. He said people in more than 33 of the 55 apartment buildings in his neighborhood have been infected.
Many infections happened at the same time. Now it's a community-wide explosion. It's been like this for a week. Right now, the entire neighborhood is under quarantine.
He told NTD that the scale of infection is straining the district's ability to cope with it.
So there are about 2,000 people who got infected at the same time. How could there be enough hospitals for them? Those who are already in the hospital cannot go home anymore. Whether they will live or die, only heaven knows.
At the time the banquet happened, Wuhan health officials were saying that the virus is controllable and preventable, and there is only limited human-to-human transmission, so the residents felt there was not much to worry about.
They put the so-called social stability above everything. The police department has said so. Right now, their priority is to keep stability.
He said a lot of the information coming from inside that neighborhood is truthful, but the authorities are ramping up the crackdown and quickly deleting posts online. Residents were also told to keep quiet or else face consequences.
Right now, the entire Wuhan city is under a mist of confusion, and we don't have freedom of the press. A lot more things will happen next. Many people are desperate, but they are brainwashed and threatened by the Chinese Communist Party. They don't even dare to speak the truth on their deathbeds. It's really sad.
Reporting by Xiaohua Gu, NTD News.
But another 39 people have tested positive on the quarantined Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan. The total cases on board has now hit 175. The Diamond Princess cruise ship is under quarantine. There are about 3,700 people on board. Quarantine began on February 4th after arriving in Yokohama, south of Tokyo. A man who disembarked 10 days earlier in Hong Kong was later diagnosed with the coronavirus. Health Minister Katsunobu Kato said on Wednesday that more people on board were confirmed infected in the recent test results.
We have found new results from new coronavirus examinations for 53 people. 39 out of them are confirmed to be positive. The ship is planned to dock at the port at 9 o'clock, so we would like to transport them immediately to medical facilities.
There is one government official found to be infected among the new 39 cases. He was collecting questionnaires from passengers on board. According to the health minister, among 174 infected people who were hospitalized, 4 are in serious condition, requiring ventilators or are in intensive care. Nearly 200 Americans have been released from their 14-day quarantine. They were evacuated from China 2 weeks ago, and none of them tested positive for the new coronavirus. Health officials say they are safe to re-enter their communities.
Riverside County Health Officer Cameron Kaiser witnessed some of the evacuees tossing their face masks in celebration as they prepare to depart March Air Reserve Base. The arrival of these evacuees caused fear and panic in the local community, but Kaiser said all of them have now completed their final health check. He says they don't have novel coronavirus and don't need to be shunned. The Pentagon says it has named 11 military bases as potential coronavirus quarantine centers. Likewise, the State Department announced more than 800 U.S. residents have returned home after departing Wuhan over the weekend. Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortegas said all evacuees will be screened for the virus in an attempt to prevent it from spreading inside the United States. Meanwhile, the Illinois Department of Public Health is assisting the Centers for Disease Control. They're testing for the 2019 novel coronavirus in its Chicago lab. Lab supervisor Jennifer Cruz says they are helping to test the specimens from all over the country.
If it looks positive to us, we send it to the CDC, who confirms that yes, indeed, it is positive. So we're helping cut their workload so they can focus on confirming what is an actual positive.
Cruz says false negatives are also possible.
Well, there could be a false negative on this if somebody has just been exposed and they don't have enough virus for us to detect, or there could be a false negative if they're near the end of an infection and there's also not going to be enough virus.
The Mobile World Congress, the annual telecoms industry gathering that draws more than 100,000 visitors to Barcelona, was canceled on Wednesday after a mass exodus by exhibitors due to fears over the coronavirus outbreak.
Its hand was forced by the pullout of anchor European members, including Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, BT, and Nokia. And local businesses are feeling the loss. They consider it the best week for Barcelona in terms of the economic tourism impact. The event, planned for February 24th to 27th, represents an estimated 500 million euros in 3 to 4 days. It drew more than 100,000 visitors to Barcelona last year.
Here at China in Focus, we bring you first-hand information from inside China. Don't forget to subscribe to get the latest updates.